Hi, and welcome back to part 2 of our geometry lesson. In the last lesson we learned about some of the more finite points of geometry, the basic building principles: point, line, segment, rays. So today what we're going to do is we're going to try to apply those into a little bit more of a complex situation. So let's get started. If I have a line like this and I need to label this line, it's one thing to call this a line, which in fact it is, but we're going to give this line a name. And so what we'll do is we'll pick 2 points on this line, and those 2 points can be anywhere, preferably spread apart more towards each end of the line that we have depicted. And then you would assign a letter to that point. And here we have AB. So line AB, and that looks great. And what we're going to do now is I need to miniaturize this so that if I were to write a sentence, I won't have to write this big whole thing. And so what I've instructed the kids to do is make a little mini line, and under that line put the letters AB. And this symbol represents this line. Okay? And the same thing goes for a segment. If I have a big segment on a test or on a piece of paper and I have it labeled segment AB, we're going to do the exact same thing that we did for line, but we're going to miniaturize the symbol segment. And there you have a line with 2 dots, 2 points on each end. And underneath it we'll put the letters AB. And this symbolizes segment AB. Okay? And last but not least, we have a ray. And if I draw a nice sized picture of a ray, and I label this ray AB, that looks wonderful. But if I need them to put this into a sentence or to describe something for me, I would like them to miniaturize that symbol to that and put the letters A, B underneath it. Now, the only thing that's different about this item here than the other two, I can list this as AB or BA. Either way, it doesn't matter. And I can list this segment AB or BA. It doesn't matter. But when we get into rays, you always start with the point. And here, it's A, and it goes to B. So we would not want to see this written as BA. If a student wrote this as ray BA, I would mark that wrong. Okay? What we're going to do now is we're going to move over to the perpendicular and the parallel. We talked about that in the last lesson. So now that we have an understanding of this, again, in our review, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to diagram for you 2 lines that we consider to be parallel. Now, for instructional purposes, these 2 lines are parallel. And the symbol I've used in the past for 2 lines being parallel is this. When you put 2 little slash marks in the same direction next to each other, this means parallel. So let's label these lines. We'll label this line AB, and we'll label our second line CD. Now if I wanted you to write this in the form of a sentence for me, this is how I would expect to see you do it, or have your children do it. Line AB is parallel to line CD. So we've taken a fairly large diagram, which they will see on a test and quizzes and in their textbooks, and they've reduced it to this little sentence. Now that we have the 2 lines labeled, we've created a sentence describing the line AB being parallel to line CD. I'm going to complicate the situation a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a 3rd line. And that 3rd line is going to cross the 2 parallel lines. This line has a unique name, and it's known as a transversal. And as you might imagine, transports, transmits, it is actually producing or conducting an activity, and it is crossing over line A and line CD. So this is important, the term transversal. And what we have now is what we call a situation in which angles are being created. And as you may notice here, their angles are this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. There's a total of 8 angles that have been formed by this transversal. Now, we'll get into the next lesson. We'll start to discuss what the relationship is with these angles. But for the time being, what's important here is that you understand that line AB is parallel to line CD, and this is how you would write that. And that this line that crosses over A, B, and CD is called a transversal. So thank you. We'll see you in part 3, where we'll talk about the type of angles that are formed.